everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic Wrestling, and it's one of the most exciting nights of the year for two reasons. One, because we're on the road to WrestleMania at last, and number two, because it's the Royal Rumble. That's right, it's time to look at everything that happened at the 2025 Royal Rumble. Let's go. Stephanie McMahon opens the show with a few brief words and welcomes us to the event and everything. We then get an opening package narrated by Pat McAfee because he played for the Colts, and of course, we're in Indianapolis. Straight into the opening match now, and it's the Women's Royal Rumble. Number one is Io Sky squaring off with the number two entrant, Liv Morgan. They tease a couple of eliminations early on, but both are still in the ring for the arrival of number three, NXT's Roxanne Perez. She actually takes control for a while until we get number four, a former rival of Roxanne's in NXT, and now the first ever women's IC champion, Lyra Valkyria. Unfortunately, Lyra has a bit of a wardrobe malfunction, but she shows some good improv or gets booted into the corner by Liv Morgan, where she can fix her gear off camera. Number five is Chelsea Green. She tries to eliminate everyone in the match currently, but they all hang on and then team up to beat her down in the middle of the ring. B-Fab is in at number six and sort of just joins the melee until we get number seven, Ivy Nile of American Made. She gets big "You Suck" chants due to the similarities of the American Made theme to the Kurt Angle music, which is a very nice touch. She hits a nice double German suplex though, which gets a big pop from the crowd, and then number eight is Zoe Stark of the Pure Fusion Collective, who hits a few nice suplexes and stuff, but still no eliminations yet. Number nine is NXT's Lash Legend, who gets some nice showcase moves of her own until B-Fab wants a showdown and they knock each other down with simultaneous kicks to the head. Chelsea Green picks the bones and gets our first elimination by throwing out B-Fab. Then number 10 is Bianca Belair. She keeps trying to do the 10-punch spot in the corner, only to have to keep backflipping out of the way of an onrushing opponent, and then doing more 10 punches again and again with more backflips, and then eventually she gets left with a big pile of opponents in the corner beneath her. Number 11 is Shayna Baszler, who helps out her stablemate Zoe Stark, who almost botches a springboard clothesline for a second, but recovers well enough and still manages to hit the move. Ivy Nile eliminates Lyra and makes the motion that she's coming after her IC title, surely a future match there. And then number 12 is last year's winner, Bayley. She gets straight into it with Roxanne Perez, who avoids the belly to Bayley, but Bayley is still able to win the exchange before facing off with former friend, Io Sky. But the Pure Fusion Collective interrupt the stare down of Damage Control or former Damage Control members, or one former Damage Control. Anyway, they beat them down to get heat before the arrival of number 13, for more heat, Sonya Deville of the Pure Fusion Collective as well. Sonya helps out her teammates, and then they weirdly offer an alliance to Chelsea Green, but it's just a trick and Sonya beats her down. Who on earth is going to stop the PFC? Probably not number 14, Maxine Dupree. She doesn't even want to get in the ring with them, but then Ivy Nile pushes the PFC aside because she wants to square off with her former stablemate. Maxine accepts the challenge and gets in the ring and actually gets the better of Ivy Nile, setting her up for the Caterpillar, which gets interrupted by the PFC. But then various babyfaces take out the PFC and Maxine completes the Caterpillar and everybody's happy. I then incorrectly think that Maxine, now having hit her big spot, is about to get eliminated straight away, but she actually eliminates Ivy instead, only to then be eliminated herself by the Pure Fusion Collective. Naomi is number 15 and runs through a few of her moves before the PFC beat her down as well. They are dominating this Rumble. Who would have seen that coming? Not me. I did not see that coming. Not for long though, as Bayley, Io, and the tag team champions all team up to take down all three PFC members with a variety of finishing maneuvers before throwing them all out. And that's the end of their Rumble journey. Number 16 is Jada Parker from NXT. She's actually very good. Well-deserved spot in the Rumble in my opinion. She gets a good pop as well, and then teams up with Lash Legend as a fellow NXT roster member. The tag team champions say hello as well, and then Chelsea Green tries to be friends with them too, only to predictably get beaten down. But then Lash Legend accidentally kicks Jada before she is thrown out by Chelsea Green. Number 17 is Piper Niven, just in time to save Chelsea from the tag champs, who very politely wait for Piper to get down the entrance ramp instead of just eliminating Chelsea straight away. Piper gets in there before Chelsea is eliminated and takes down both of the tag champs on her own for a while, which is very impressive. Chelsea then gets thrown onto the apron. Piper charges to save the day, only for her target to move, and Piper accidentally eliminates her own friend. Oh no! Number 18 is Natalya. Nice reaction for the veteran. And then we get number 19. It's Jordynne Grace, who runs wild and eliminates Jada before mocking her dance. Huge reception here for Jordynne Grace. Piper Niven drops Jordan with a headbutt, but then Jordan fires up, kind of no-sells it, and lifts Piper up for a very nice rolling Death Valley driver, maybe the nicest single move in this Rumble, which gets a huge pop. Jordan hugs former TNA roster mate Naomi, but Bianca doesn't like that and almost throws Jordan out by the hair, but Jordan survives. And the two tag champs are like squabbling. They're like, that's my friend. Number 20 is Michin, who hits a few moves before taking a Piper driver from Niven. And then number 21 is Alexa Bliss, who gets the big return pop. Number 22 is Zelina Vega, who always wears entrance gear that I don't quite get the reference to, but it always looks good. She hits a nice Code Red from the top on Jordan Grace. Wade Barrett on commentary says, oh yes, the Code Red, a move invented by her cousin Amazing Red. And I'm like, what? Amazing Red, Zelina Vega's cousin. Is that true? 23 is Candice LeRae, but the crowd are more excited for number 24, NXT's Stephanie Vaquer. Number 25 is the Hall of Famer, Trish Stratus. Big reaction for Trish, obviously, in the old school pink cowboy gear. Before we get number 26, Raquel Rodriguez, who obviously gets straight to the ring and teams up with her pal Liv Morgan. Liv gets rid of Natalya with a code breaker on the apron and then laughs about it. Ha 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 ha. But then Bliss nearly takes her out, but Raquel saves Liv, and then Liv gets rid of Bliss too, and the crowd hate that. It's the right type of heat, though. And then entrant number 27 is the woman of the hour. We've all been waiting. It's Charlotte Flair, who gets bloody pyro on her way to the ring in a Royal Rumble. Barrett is beside himself on commentary. McAfee's talking about how you could barely hear the pyro because this reaction's so loud in here. Charlotte's taking like 2 minutes to get to the ring. They've made it very clear, basically, that she is the favorite to win here. So let's see if she does. She has chops for everyone and eliminates Michin, who is hanging out on the apron for no reason. Well, I assume she got thrown there, but we don't see how she ended up on the apron. But she's gone. Piper gets thrown out by Charlotte as well before we get number 28, the NXT Women's Champion, Julia. She eliminates Jordan Grace. I don't know if the crowd are too pleased about that, but then Julia strikes up an alliance with her friend from NXT, Stephanie Vaquer. Roxanne Perez joins them as they battle Bayley, Charlotte, and Bianca. I guess it's kind of like a new versus old generation kind of thing. But I'm like, what, Bianca in the older generation? I still see her as quite new-ish, certainly more so than Charlotte and Bayley. Nia Jax is 29 and eliminates Zelina from the outside. She gets in the ring, talks some trash to Trish Stratus, which allows Candice to blindside Trish, but then Stratus turns the tables and eliminates Candice instead. Trish gets thrown onto the apron, but almost manages to leave Nia out over the top as well, only for LeRae to disrupt her from the outside, and Nia eliminates the Hall of Famer. Number 30 is not Becky Lynch, as rumored, but actually Nikki Bella, who does also get a big reception. She gets in the ring just as everybody decides to team up on Nia Jax, but Nia does the big burst spot, like the big, bah, get away from me. Nikki then has a push-up contest with Roxanne for some reason, before various different women end up on the apron. Stephanie Vaquer in particular ends up being closer to being eliminated than I've ever seen, I think, anyone before in any Rumble. More women are added to this pile on the apron. It's looking very precarious. And then Nia just eliminates loads at once. It's a confusing mess. I'm so sorry. Just look at the image on the video. I'm sorry. It was like a wall of wrestlers just slowly melting off the edge of the ring. Basically my worst nightmare doing this sort of recap video. Nia also then gets rid of Liv Morgan and apparently has a total of 7 eliminations at this stage. Roxanne and Julia then end up on the apron, Roxanne shoving Julia into the ring post to notch an elimination of her own. Back in the ring, Nikki Bella tries to hit Nia, who ducks, and then Nikki inadvertently hits Bayley instead, who's on the apron. Bayley is out of there, and then Nia immediately eliminates Nikki as well, for good measure. We're down to the final 3 of Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair, and Roxanne Perez. All of a sudden, this match just hit the accelerator. Roxanne actually makes the final 2 as she struggles with Nia over the ropes, only for Charlotte to sneak up from behind and throw Jax out. Roxanne then battles with Charlotte a little bit for a few seconds, tries to get back in the ring. Charlotte hits her with a big boot, and she wins the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble. She was the favorite going in, but I still think, she's an exciting winner. She's a big star and everything. Just a bit heartbreaking that Roxanne got so close and couldn't quite get it done. Next up is the WWE Tag Team Champions DIY defending against the Motor City Machine Guns in 2 out of 3 falls action. The Machine Guns take control early on and Sabin hits a big dive to the outside through Shelley's legs onto both champions. Double hot tags are made, but DIY's is a sneaky fake out. Ciampa is then able to blindside Shelley with a huge knee, and DIY grab the first fall very quickly. It's very nice heel tactics indeed. DIY double team Shelley for a while and take control of the second fall as well, but Shelley fights back and Ciampa gets knocked to the outside of the ring. There, he crawls under the ring and tries to pull Sabin down off the apron to prevent a hot tag. Sabin fights him off, so Ciampa distracts the ref instead, so he misses the eventual hot tag, and DIY maintain control. They're able to hit the Shatter Machine, but Shelley kicks out at 2. FTR buried, perhaps? Finally, Sabin gets the hot tag and takes down the champions with a pair of kicks from the apron, followed by a big crossbody all the way to the outside. Gargano ends up isolated, and the Guns run through some of their double-team offense, followed by Skull and Bones, and it's even at 1 fall apiece. DIY hit a big super kick into Fairy Tale ending double-team maneuver on Sabin, but Shelley saves the day. Gargano takes Shelley out with a dive to the outside before Ciampa hits Project Ciampa on Sabin, but again, he survives, and Ciampa can't believe that he kicked out at 2. Ciampa heads up top, but Sabin shoves him face first into the top of the ring post before pulling him down into the Tree of Woe position. This leads to a big overhead belly-to-belly on Gargano into Ciampa, and then we get some more of that classic fast-paced Machine Guns offense. It almost gets them the winning fall, but Gargano shoves Sabin into the pinfall attempt to break it up. But then Johnny accidentally superkicks Ciampa before turning into more lightning-fast double-team stuff from the Guns, who set up for another Skull and Bones, but then a pair of very mysterious men interfere. It's the Street Profits. Dawkins attacks with a crutch while Ford distracts the referee, and then the champs hit meet in the middle and retain the tag team championships. It's maybe a heel turn for the Profits, or is it because they also beat down the champions with the crutch too? Are they tweeners then perhaps? Maybe they just really want the belts, and that certainly seems to be the case as they raise the belts high above the fallen champions. Next up, Cody Rhodes defending the undisputed WWE title against Kevin Owens in a ladder match with both Cody's belt and Owens' stolen Winged Eagle throwback belt hung above the ring. Kevin is wearing a shirt that says "The Canadian Dream, son of a security systems technician," which is excellent banter. We have a nice back and forth to start, and then they fight over a ladder on the outside. That ends up getting knocked over, and then Kevin body slams Cody through one of the support beams, and then picks up the support beam and sort of beats him with it. It's all rough and ready. They brawl into the WWE Universe, and Cody hits Kev with a drink. Wahey! Owens then slams Cody face first into the camera following them, and we're just having fun, aren't we? Not for long, it gets brutal quite soon. Owens sets up a ladder in the ring, but Cody stops him and the fight spills back outside, where Owens sets up a ladder bridge from the announce table to the apron. They don't use it yet, but remember it for later. They head back in the ring and Owens takes out Cody with a teeny tiny ladder. He then climbs up it and sets up for a sick high spot off the top, but it's just a tease, and then he climbs down and just gives a single stomp to Cody's midsection. Owens remains a troll at the best of times. Cody takes a nasty slam right on the tiny ladder, but then regains control and climbs up and grabs the belts. Owens pulls him away from the ladder though, and Cody dangles for a bit, swings back to the ladder, where Owens pulls him down into like an improvised powerbomb. Kev then traps Cody beneath the ladder and climbs it himself, but Cody starts to press it upwards off his chest, so Owens gets back down and continues to just dish out punishment. Cody vertical suplexes Owens onto a ladder and then breaks a piece off the main ladder in the middle of the ring and uses it to beat up the challenger, but eats a super kick in reply, followed by mock Dusty Rhodes offense from Kevin. A little bit later on, Owens sets up for something nasty into a ladder set up in the corner of the ring, but Cody counters with a backdrop, sending Owens into a ladder lying on the canvas, but like lying the worst way with the edges facing upwards. It's a horrible bump. Cody now climbs, but Owens catches him and now does powerbomb him into that corner ladder I mentioned a second ago, and that is also a nasty bump. Jeez. Owens sets up another ladder bridge between the bottom rope and the main ladder in the middle of the ring, laying Cody onto it and preparing for a splash onto the champion. Cody cuts him off though, but it's a bad idea because he ends up taking the huge fisherman buster from the second rope onto the ladder bridge. Man, both men are down. Officials come out to check on them, including SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis, but also, who's that? Sami Zayn comes out to check on both men too, mainly checking on Owens, but he does look over at Cody as well. No funny business from Sami though, not yet at least. Let's see what happens. Kevin is back up to his feet first and wants to carry on the punishment. He goes for a stunner, but Cody counters into the crossroads. He goes to climb the ladder, but Kevin grabs his boot, and now Cody snaps and shows a bit of a dark side that he teased in the build-up to this match. He drags Owens over to the announce table on the outside, slams his head repeatedly into it, and Kevin is busted wide open. Cody continues to beat Owens down and talks trash, but leaves himself open to a low blow. Kevin then tries for a package piledriver through the ladder bridge from before, the one on the outside, but Cody reverses it into like the biggest Alabama slam of all time through the ladder bridge, and Owens is done. Sami Zayn rushes straight over to check on Kevin while Cody climbs up and wins the match, retaining the undisputed WWE title. Kevin gave it all away and Cody took it all away, or whatever the song says. There's a lot of adrenaline at play here. A big deal is made after the match of Owens being seriously hurt. He's bleeding all over the place. Officials are still checking on him. He's totally limp. Cody, interestingly, is not sympathetic at all. In fact, he stops when he's about to leave, goes back to ringside and poses on the announce table above a stricken Kevin Owens while Sami is still checking on his friend. That's not very nice, Cody, but I enjoy the potential, even though I don't know if they do it from a business point of view, I enjoy at least the tease of a potential Cody Rhodes heel turn, which I think would be really fun storytelling. Right, here we go then. The main event is, of course, the men's Royal Rumble match. Entrant number 1 is Rey Mysterio, and interestingly, entrant number 2 is Penta. Ooh. They shake hands to begin, but Penta pulls Rey's arm back and it gets tense. Penta does his taunt, Rey replies with 619, spelled out with his fingers, and then attacks Penta, and they get underway. They both spill to the apron, and it's a close one, but they get back in. Then they tease another one, and did Penta's feet hit the floor there? The crowd thinks so, but commentary claim it's just 1 foot down, and it actually may have been. I'm not certain, but it was very close. Number 3 is Chad Gable, and he hates luchadors. We get some nice three-way action, and obviously the two luchadors do team up on Chad. Number 4 is Carmelo Hayes, who takes control for a bit, does a fake-out high five with Rey. Way, you big loser, Rey. Melo then takes Rey down and teams up with Chad against the faces. They then high five, but then Melo instantly turns on Chad and tries to eliminate him, the cheeky boy. Gable survives and hits a big German suplex. Number 5 is Santos Escobar, who hits a 619 on Rey. Oh no. Penta is offended by this and takes it to Santos, only to get hit with a destroyer. By this point, Mysterio recovers and hits a revenge 619 of his own on Escobar. Gable tries to do what I think it was Chelsea did in the Women's Royal Rumble, several near eliminations, only for it to come back and bite him in the form of a 4-way super kick. Everyone is down by the time we get number 6, Otis, who goes for the Caterpillar, but gets caught with an ankle lock by Chad Gable. Otis fights him off, they exchange big, hateful slaps, and then Gable hits a huge German on the bigger man, but Otis fires up like Ishii in New Japan. He applies a torture rack for a while, which I think is a really good banter move to do in a Royal Rumble, I have to say. Entrant number 7, it's Bron Breakker, and business is about to pick up. Instant spear to Melo, he's eliminated. Leaping Frankensteiner to Gable, backdrop on Otis. Bron just runs into Mysterio and flattens him. I think Bron Breakker should be everyone's favorite wrestler. Another spear takes out Santos Escobar this time, and he is thrown out too, before entrant number 8 is Tozawa, but he's attacked by Melo, who's clomping grumpily off to the back, and he attacks Tozawa, who, after I think just one blow to the back, is too injured to compete in this Royal Rumble, guys. Adam Pearce and officials help Tozawa to gorilla. The camera follows him, and we see Triple H go, well, we need a replacement. Who on earth is going to replace him? Turns out streamer iShowSpeed, or just Speed sometimes, is hanging out in the back, and Triple H is like, get out there, Speed. And very luckily, actually, they have music ready for him and everything. Speed gets in the ring and eliminates Otis, which is really sad. And Speed celebrates by doing Cristiano Ronaldo's Sue thing. He hits a nice standing backflip as well, before being absolutely destroyed by a Bron Breakker spear. Breaker throws Speed to the outside, and it becomes quickly apparent why it was Otis who was eliminated, because he's big and strong enough to catch Speed in midair and hit him with a fallaway slam onto the announce table. Fair play to Speed. That is not a bump that he necessarily would have had to take, but he seemed pretty game for it. Time for entrant number 9, Sheamus, who does the beats to the chest on Gable, then on Braun. A Penta almost eliminates him, but Sheamus slingshots himself into the ring with a Gargano-esque spear. Wow, for a man that size, very nice. Sheamus counters a spear attempt from Braun with a bro kick, and now we get entrant number 10, Jimmy Uso, who hits a whisper in the wind and a few hip attacks. He's in control. Then we get number 11, Andrade. He hits a few moves. Then we get number 12. Oh no, it's Jacob Fatu. Penta tries to do his Cero Miedo taunt, so Jacob just hits him with a big right hand before lifting both Penta and Rey into a double Samoan drop. Wow. Chad Gable gets eliminated by Jacob, followed by Rey and then Andrade. Jacob's on a roll, but here comes Bron Breakker. This is a very nice stare down, but unfortunately, both are attacked by other competitors before they can come to blows. Ludwig Kaiser is out next, but he takes his time getting into the ring, all sneaky. He finally gets in, and Penta throws him out straight away. Kaiser is furious, and referees have to hold him back. Number 14 is The Miz. He almost gets rid of Braun, who just clings on before Miz hits a skull-crushing finale to Jimmy Uso. But Jacob Fatu interrupts The Miz's momentum when Miz tries a springboard for some reason, which is reversed into a mid-air Samoan drop from Jacob. Entrant number 15, oh my word, say his name and he appears. It's none other than the reigning TNA World Champion, Joe Hendry. Amazing moment to see him in the Rumble, from a personal point of view, and for all the fans of Joe Hendry who only learned about him last year, and everyone who's been with him on his journey from, I won't waffle on. It's great to see Joe in the Rumble. Hendry hits a few moves on The Miz, but then Jacob takes him out. Sheamus isn't happy with Jacob for this, saying, hey, I was enjoying that. I was enjoying Joe Hendry being on a roll. Number 16 is Roman Reigns. Spear to The Miz. Miz is gone. Spear to Sheamus. He's gone too. And now it's Joe Hendry versus Roman Reigns. Oh my God. Spear to Hendry, and Hendry's gone. Oh, man. But Bron Breakker now hits a spear on Roman. He goes to eliminate him. Roman reverses the momentum, and Bron is eliminated too. Jacob Fatu takes out Jimmy Uso and squares off with Roman Reigns and takes it to Roman, but then makes the mistake of whipping him into the ropes. Oh dear, spear to Jacob, but he's still in this match for now. Entrant number 17 is Drew McIntyre. He has a big face-off with Roman, of course, and they exchange right hands until Jacob runs back in and strikes up an alliance with Drew to beat Reigns down. Finn Balor is number 18 and mixes it up with Penta and Drew for a while before we get entrant number 19, Shinsuke Nakamura. Penta hits a nice step-up destroyer off Finn's back onto Jacob, but then Balor throws him out shortly afterwards. Boo. Nice showing from Penta, though, in his first ever Royal Rumble. Number 20 is Jey Uso. Big spear to Drew, and then a poison rana to Jacob. Oh my. Jey backdrops Nakamura out before the arrival of number 21. Thankfully, with his previous better theme music, it's the returning AJ Styles. This is the first time, of course, that we've seen AJ since his injury, and he runs wild for a bit before entrant number 22, Braun Strowman. Braun goes straight for Jacob Fatu and throws him out instantly. Oh no. Jacob is furious and clears the announce table in anger before throwing one of the announcer's chairs at Braun in the ring, and it gets caught very nicely in the ropes for a bit, and it's quite satisfying. Number 23, here he is. It's John Cena, who low bridges Braun out of the Rumble straight away before hitting an AA on Balor onto Braun on the outside, and Braun sort of catches Balor, but it looks like a painful landing for Finn. Roman spears Drew before staring Cena down, but their face-off is interrupted by number 24, CM Punk. We now get a big three-way standoff, but here comes number 25, Seth Rollins, and he has no time for stare downs, attacks Punk straight away, and the match kind of resumes as normal. Entrant number 26 is Dominic Mysterio. I think that's a very smart choice to get heat after all the big names have just come out. You don't want to put a babyface in that spot, so Dom's, the heeliest of heels. It makes sense. Dom hits a frog splash and tries to hit the Three Amigos on Roman, but that's not happening, and he gets hit with a Samoan drop instead. 27 is next, and it's Sami Zayn, who dishes out a couple of Helluva kicks, and then we get number 28, Damian Priest, who takes control of the match for a bit, but then Dom drop kicks him into a 619 position, but Priest isn't weakened enough to stay there, slams Dom, and eliminates his former stablemate. Number 29 is LA Knight. He exchanges punches with Jey Uso so the crowd can go yeet, yeah, yeet, yeah. Sami helps up Roman to remind us that they're friends still in 2025. Drew does not like this, of course, and he throws Sami onto the apron. Jey Uso tries to superkick Drew, who moves, and Jey inadvertently superkicks Sami, eliminating his friend from the Rumble. Oh no. It's time for number 30, which is Logan Paul to massive heat, of course. A double buckshot lariat into the Rumble on AJ and Seth, and LA Knight is not amused by this. He measures Logan, and while this is all going on, Priest just sort of barges past and eliminates Drew, which feels very significant, but it's like they almost missed it. Several babyfaces now take turns beating up Logan in the corner before LA Knight gets him on the apron, but Logan does a Kofi Kingston and leaps to the announce table to avoid elimination. Back in the ring, LA Knight hits the skull-crushing finale on Priest and eliminates him, and then Styles eliminates Knight before too long as well. Logan jumps back to the ring steps and eliminates AJ, who was on the apron attempting a phenomenal forearm, and the crowd hate this, obviously. The final 6 have a stare down and then all pair off to brawl. Punk hits the go to sleep on Logan. Seth hits the pedigree on Jey. Cena goes for an AA on Seth, but then Roman interrupts that with a Superman punch instead. Seth stomps Cena. Seth stomps Punk. It's all breaking down. This massive flurry of moves leaves Roman and Seth the only two standing for now, and they have a big, hateful stare down. They exchange trash talk and then big right hands. Various moves are countered before Seth charges for a big clothesline to eliminate Roman, but they both end up halfway over the top rope, like kind of clinging on to each other, and CM Punk creeps up from behind and eliminates both. The crowd are electric for this. Then Logan Paul creeps up and eliminates Punk, and the crowd are less electric for that. Punk and Roman have a bit of a moment on the outside, possible Mania match maybe. They glare at each other until Seth charges with what I'm going to call a disgusting two-footed stomp right on Roman's head. It looks brutal. Seth and Punk start brawling around the outside while security try and hold them apart. Seth breaks away from that brawl, gets in the face of Paul Heyman, and then charges and stomps Roman again, this time onto the ring steps. Seth finally leaves while Punk sells the disappointment of losing his Mania main event dream. He steps over Roman's prone body on the outside and glares at Paul Heyman. This is like a cutscene. There are storyline things happening here. Finally back into the ring where it's a final 3 of John Cena, Jey Uso, and Logan Paul. Cena lifts both of them in a double AA attempt, but Jey slips out and superkicks Logan, and Cena clotheslines Logan to the floor to a huge pop. That leaves us with Cena versus Jey. They have a long stare down, and then Cena takes control and starts to run through the 5 moves of doom. Here we go. 5 knuckle shuffle connects, and he sets up for the attitude adjustment, but Jey slips out and hits some super kicks. They continue to go back and forth. Jey hits the spear, and both men are down. Cena throws Jey over the top rope and thinks he's won, but Jey hangs on, and Cena then gets low-bridged onto the apron, and they're both teetering. It's very dramatic. They fight on the apron. Jey hits a super kick, and Cena, with just one hand gripping the top rope and one leg on the apron, is dangling. Oh, he's dangling. Then he gets Jey up for an attitude adjustment. Jey slips into the ring and shoves Cena out, and oh my, the Yeet Meister has won the Royal Rumble. I guess he really is main event Jey Uso. We get instant sportsmanship from Cena, who leaps back into the ring and hugs Jey and then takes his leave, and Jey Uso is left to celebrate. And I've got conflicted thoughts about this. On one hand, it feels strange to have Jey Uso win one of the most stacked and storyline heavy Rumbles in recent memory, when you've got the likes of Cena, Punk, Roman, McIntyre, Rollins all in there. It does feel like Jey is an odd choice of winner. On the other hand, I am one of those people who every year I'm always like, yeah, I'd love a bit of a surprise winner. And I think given the field, Jey Uso does count as a surprise winner. So there we go. Jey Uso wins the Men's Royal Rumble. Charlotte Flair wins the Women's Royal Rumble. And there's various storyline things are happening up and down the card heading into WrestleMania. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Jack from Cultaholic. Thank you to Joel and Pierce on the edit for this video. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and I'll see you very soon.